Imagine, if you will, that you're 5 years old. You're laying in bed asleep in a restful, peaceful sleep. Then suddenly, out of nowhere, someone comes in and grabs you out of your bed. You've been kidnapped. Now, if you're a little boy, you're thrown into a man's army where you're taught how to kill and mutilate. If you're a little girl, you're forced into sex slavery. Seems unimaginable, doesn't it? Well, this is the plight of over 30,000 kids in Central Africa right now. I learned about the Kony 2012 campaign after a friend of mine posted a video to Facebook. The video was 30 minutes long, and after watching it, I was literally moved to tears. Little kids shouldn't have to go through this stuff. It doesn't matter where you live. Where you live shouldn't determine if you live. Today, my goal is to bring to the forefront of your mind the facts surrounding the Kony 2012 campaign by telling you who Joseph Kony is, who the invisible children are, and how one possible solution to stop the atrocities brought on by Joseph Kony and his Lord's Resistance Army. First, I'm going to give you a little background on Joseph Kony. He's the leader of the Lord's Resistance Army in Central Africa. He rose to power after his distant cousin passed away, and it was originally just a rebel group trying to overthrow government. Well, when he took hold, he decided to change the name to the Lord's Resistance Army and resorted to thievery and abduction to fill his army ranks. This is all according to Invisible Children. He was indicted by the ICC for things such as war crimes, kidnapping, and crimes against humanity. Now, Interpol has all of this information on their website if you'd like to check it out. But he's also wanted by Interpol, The Hague, among many other agencies. There have been peace treaties negotiated. Unfortunately, fortunately, he went to these peace treaty meetings, negotiated an entire peace treaty. But when time came to actually sign the treaty, he never showed up. They gave him 5 more chances, and he never showed up. So unfortunately, there was no peace to be had. And the Invisible Children has it on good authority that while he was negotiating peace, that he was just, abducting more kids and making his army even bigger. Thankfully, Joseph Kony is not the only influential voice in Central Africa. We're going to learn about the Invisible Children organization now. The Invisible Children came up by 2 men named Ben Kesey and Jason Russell. These 2 gentlemen had just graduated from college, and they thought, hey, we're going to go on an adventure. We're going to go to Africa and just see how things are. So Ben and Jason jumped on an airplane, flew to Africa, and they had just kind of an unusual encounter with a little boy named Jacob. Jacob had been abducted by Joseph Kony and his LRA. Him and his brother both learned how to kill, learned how to mutilate, even had to do so to their parents. Jacob's brother decided he was going to escape, so he ran off. Well, he was caught and brought back and murdered right in front of Jacob. Jacob was saved by an organization that came and actually rescued some kids, and he recounted how his brother was murdered in front of his eyes. He also recounted how he didn't want to live anymore, how he thought his life was hopeless. He was 12 years old. A 12-year-old boy should never be that hopeless. So after hearing Jacob's story, Ben and Jason were both moved to action. They promised Jacob that they would be back, that there's something that they could do, and that he promised that he would do his best to get rid of Joseph Kony and the Lord's Resistance Army. Kesey and Russell asked themselves, what can I do? They decided to start an organization to bring the plight of these children to the masses, and in doing so, stopping Kony. So how does it stop? Well, it stops with getting information to the general public, especially here in the United States where we have a democracy, where we can actually get a hold of our representatives and tell them what bothers us. So they decided that the best thing they could do is make Joseph Kony famous, to bring him to the forefront of the minds of millions of Americans. They came up with a social media campaign where they blitzed. They brought everything to Facebook, to Twitter, many other social networking accounts, and started this huge viral video campaign. And as of today, that video has over 86 million views. They also decided to come up with a Cover the Night campaign. This is taking place on April 20th of this year, which is just a few weeks from now. And what it is a bunch of people are going to mobilize and just plaster cities all over the country with these Coney 2012 Make Invisible posters. This is one design, there's many others that you've seen in my slideshow. So after making Coney famous and after plastering the night, they're also asking millions of Americans to call your political representatives, call your senators, call your House of Rep members. Make sure that they know what's going on and that there's something they can do to help. Jason and Ben, what they want to do is get more military support over there to help them out. They get political and cultural icons involved, such as Kanye West. They have Beyonce involved. They have Jay-Z involved. There's a bunch of celebrities that are also getting involved in this campaign to help make Coney famous. Now, in closing, I just want to reiterate that obviously Joseph Coney is a bad man. He needs to be stopped. That the Invisible Children organization is doing the best that they can to get this information out and to actually stop Joseph Coney, get him captured, get him arrested, get him brought to justice. And by doing all of this, we hope to make Coney famous and make it all stop. So, in conclusion, I just want to say that these kids, they're fighting a horrible battle, and of course, where you live should determine if you live.